The sun was setting over a quiet neighborhood when Officer James thought his shift was nearly over. The evening was calm, the steady hum of his patrol car almost relaxing until he heard something that froze him in place. It was the cry of a child. Looking to his side, he saw a little girl, no more than 6 years old, running toward his car. Tears streaked her cheeks, her hair was messy, and her small hands shook as she begged through sobs. "Please come with me. My mommy needs help." Something in her eyes told James this wasn't just a child having a bad day, this was serious. Without a second thought, he stepped out, knelt to her level and promised, "I'm here. Show me the way." Her tiny hand gripped his tightly as she led him down quiet streets. The further they went, the heavier the air felt. Paint peeled from old houses, the yards were unkempt, and silence hung all around. Finally, they reached a small home with an overgrown yard and a front door left slightly open. The girl pointed inside. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Mommy won't wake up." James carefully stepped in. The house was dim, cluttered with unpaid bills and empty food containers. In a small bedroom, he found a young woman barely in her 20s lying weakly on the bed. Her breathing was shallow, her face pale. She was alive, but clearly in danger. James called for an ambulance immediately, all while speaking gently to the little girl whose name was Emily to keep her calm. Through soft sobs, Emily explained she had tried to help her mother, even attempted to make soup, but she was too little. When she realized her mommy wasn't getting better, she ran outside to find help. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and rushed Emily's mother to the hospital. Emily clung to James the whole way, her little hands gripping his uniform as though he was her only anchor. True to his word, James stayed with her through it all. At the hospital, doctors explained the truth. Her mother, Sarah, had collapsed from exhaustion, untreated pneumonia, and dehydration. She had been working multiple jobs, skipping meals and rest, just to keep life going for her daughter. As James listened, he knew this was more than just a medical crisis. It was a family quietly drowning in hardship. Over the following days, while Sarah recovered, James visited often. He learned more about their struggles. Emily's father had left, leaving Sarah to raise her daughter alone, without support or nearby family. She had been pushing herself to the breaking point to provide for Emily. James couldn't let them go back to that same struggle. Quietly, he reached out for help, local charities, his fellow officers, and caring neighbors. The response was overwhelming. Food, clothing, and donations began arriving. Volunteers helped clean and repair the home. When Sarah finally returned from the hospital, she stepped into a house filled with fresh groceries, fixed furniture, and warmth she hadn't felt in years. Tears ran down her face as she hugged Emily tightly, realizing they weren't alone anymore. Emily smiled brighter than ever and whispered a small thank you to James, a moment he knew he would never forget. From that day forward, the neighborhood stayed connected, checking in on Sarah and Emily. Sarah found steadier work that allowed her more time with her daughter, and together they began to rebuild their lives. One evening, as James watched Emily playing outside while Sarah chatted with neighbors, he understood something powerful. This wasn't just about one rescue. It was about hope, about how the courage of one small child and the kindness of a community could change a life forever. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to HOA Secrets together. We can keep spreading real stories that remind us kindness is still alive in this world.